watching QTV broadcasting from the Gambia, and this is the news with me, Ansumana Eswanyasi. Coming up, TRRC hearings continue, and we hear from one of the most high-profile members of the Jammeh-led military council as former Vice President and Minister of Defense in the former AFPRC junta, Singhateh, testifies. The government of Japan donates a significant number of farming equipment to the government and people of the Gambia. The tourism minister heralds the coming of tourist season. And a hospital at Latrikunda German is closed following an intervention by the Ministry of Health. Stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. Former Vice President and Minister of Defense in the former AFPRC junta, Singhateh, testified at the TRRC about the said 1994 military coup that deposed the government of late President Jammeh and says he was the mastermind behind the coup. Babukarsi reports.
The ex-APRC stalwart Singhateh began his testimony by recalling the reasons why he and Sana Sabali decided to overthrow the PPP government with support from other officers. As one of the two masterminds of the coup, he said he and his colleagues decided to overthrow the government because the army was facing a lot of problems, ranging among other matters from downsizing, rotten food, lack of facilities, equipment, and thus it was not difficult to convince the soldiers that they needed something better. He said the group that came together to form the team did not initially include Yahya Jammeh, as the two masterminds behind the takeover were him and Sana Sabali. He said Sana was the one who started the coup on a night when he broke into one of the armories in Yundum barracks and contacted Yahya Jammeh, who went to wake up Singhateh, and they drove to Yundum. He and Jammeh went to State House while Sana and Sadibu deployed to Fajara barracks to attack and control, which was succeeded without bloodshed. At their meeting at the State House before meeting the rest of the leaders, he claimed to have suggested for Jammeh to be made head as he considered Sana Sabali as not fit for that position due to his previous behavior.
It was myself and him who started all of this. And he was my senior, even though we were both second lieutenants. When I suggested that Jammeh be the head of whatever we were setting up at the time, he should lead the whole process, I could see Sana's countenance change immediately. He was not happy. And was it Sadibu had a question, but why? And I said, but because he's the senior. He's the most senior. He's going to take the position.
On the issue of security officers that were arrested and detained, he accepted that the detainees were kept in terrible conditions by the already formed APRC. However, he confirms that some of the detainees had not done anything to warrant them being arrested and had no idea why they were arrested, while others were labeled as security threats. He described the incident of the arrested politicians who were taken to Mile 2 Remand Wing as despicable and unlawful. On the torture of the security officers at Mile 2, he denied being intoxicated and said he neither beat any of the detainees as he was just there for interrogation.
I did not touch any of them that night.
So, Mr. Singhateh, all these people are lying?
Sir, as it stands, I can only tell you that I did not touch any of them.
He accepted collective responsibility to the inhuman treatment meted to security officers detained and tortured at Mile 2.
The whole thing was wrong. We should not have even been there in the first place. And so anything that has happened, directly or indirectly, we share all of the responsibility.
On the issue of November 11th, where security officers were arrested, detained, and some executed with the information that they were planning a counter-coup, Mr. Singhateh said they were ordered to make sure to take no prisoner alive. His testimony continues tomorrow. Babukarsi, QTV News.
The Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Toure, on Wednesday accepted the handing over of a consignment of farm implements by the Japanese government earmarked for Gambian farmers. Aliou Cisse witnessed the event at Banjulunding, and Hina reports.
The farm implements and seeds are provided by the government and people of Japan through the Minister of Agriculture to support underprivileged Gambian farmers. The equipment includes, among others, power tillers, multi-purpose threshing machines, irrigation pumps, and seeds. Ami Fabure, Minister of Agriculture, said the implements will improve agricultural productivity of farmers.
The objective of the project is to increase production and the productivity of the key targeted agricultural value chain in line with the ANR policy, that's our agriculture policy, and the National Development Plan through the provision of equipment, materials, seeds, vegetables, groundnut, drugs, and a vaccine geared towards improving livestock production and the productivity.
Gambian farmers have for many years blamed poor harvest on a lack of timely provision of implements and seeds. Tasso Arai, Japan's ambassador to the Gambia, said his government was proud to support the Gambia's agricultural sector.
Agriculture is a key sector of the Gambian economy, and Japan is well aware that continued growth in this sector would make a major contribution to the social and economic development of the Gambia.
Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré praised the relationship between Banjul and Tokyo, and according to her, the implements will help promote mechanized farming.
You are handing over these invaluable items at an opportune moment. I am confident that they will benefit thousands of vulnerable households and their dependents in various ways. Hopefully, the impact will be felt in their produce and their livelihoods. To achieve this, we will endeavor to ensure that the items reach the target beneficiaries and that they are put to very good use. Already, a sustainability plan has been developed for the proper utilization and management of the entire project.
The beneficiaries of this farming equipment, which will be dispatched to the regions, will be identified by the regional agricultural directors. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
The Minister for Tourism, Hamad N.K. Bah, has spoken about the impact of the collapse of the UK tour operator Thomas Cook on this year's tourist season. This follows the arrival of a Corinthian Airlines flight from Holland as the tourist season opens. QTV's Ibrahim Balde reports.
After the arrival of 186 tourists from Holland on Monday, the Minister for Tourism, Hamad N.K. Bah, on Tuesday explains the prospect of this year's tourist season.
And I believe that this year also we are starting on a very good note. However, there are concerns and issues that we need to address as a sector. Number one is about the airport being refurbished. And you must understand that there will be challenges. If at the moment you have about 200-300 passengers, you are having a problem, or 100 passengers, you are having a problem in terms of capacity. The airport is undergoing refurbishment, and that means we also need to redouble up our efforts to make sure when our tourists come in hundreds, we are well prepared for it. I think that's an area I've already discussed with them. The GT board is taking up the matter with the Civil Aviation Authority and other agencies of government that are responsible of matters regarding to the arrival and departure of our tourists.
The minister also mentioned the impact of the fall of the tour operator Thomas Cook on this year's tourist season, saying that there are contingency measures in place.
We are aware that Thomas Cook has gone bankrupt and they had so many people who have booked holidays with them. We believe that it will also affect our arrival numbers, also affect our revenue and affect the country at large. And I think Gambia government also, we as a government, we are aware of the consequences of the bankruptcy of Thomas Cook. It's going to cost us hugely to the economy and, of course, to the Gambian people at large. But as a government also, we were prepared. We were not sleeping. We saw it coming, and we took some measures so that we can mitigate this problem. To make sure that the impact would not be as extreme as it would have been if we were not prepared as a government.
The minister called on Gambians to help maintain peace and stability and also contribute to national development. He also urged citizens to make Gambia a conducive place for tourists. Ibrahim Balde, QTV News.
And from that report by Ibrahim Balda, we take a short commercial break. When we return, we hear about the closure of a hospital which has left patients angry. We also hear about the signing of an MOU between the Gambia's Red Cross and Qatar's Red Crescent and more. Do stay tuned.
tukki jóge ko ci réewi Gambia dem Sénégal léegi ak QCell line bi mun nga roam ci Sénégal ci njëg bu yomba bànneexul si njëg yuñ wàññi suñu roaming service bi ci internet bi call bi SMS bi saa yoo nekkee biir Sénégal QCell ak Orange ñoo booloo pour mun leen a jàppale roaming service bu amut fenn saa yooy jëfandikoo QCell line bi ci biir Sénégal wala nga ñëw ak sa Orange number bi ci biir réewi Gambia di nga mun a bànneexu si njëg yuñ wàññi suñu roaming service bi bu dee tukki ci wàllum njaay ak jënda wala tukki ak sa famille saa su ne bul mu sa xalaat njëg bu seer ci wàllum roaming service bi ndaxte saa su ne QCell ak Orange ñu ngi laa jàppale lii dafa ànd ak sarte yiñ tëral soo leen ci bëggee xam lu leer jokkoo leen na suñ customer care bi ci 111 QCell, the Gambia's quality network.
Welcome back. The ASB German clinic operating in Latrikunda German has been shut down. According to reports, the management received a notice from the Ministry of Health for the clinic to cease operations. Maria Tusa tells us more.
The ASB clinic located at Dipakunda is a German private clinic that offers treatment in general disease, antenatal care, baby deliveries, immunizations and operations. According to reports, the Ministry of Health ordered the closure of the clinic on the 9th of October, allegedly due to complications resulting to loss of lives. As a result, all clinical activities at the health facility have stopped. People have reacted with dismay over the decision to close the clinic. When we visited the clinic, we found patients waiting to receive treatment, unaware that the place was closed. Binta Jallo, a mother, was worried because her baby was supposed to have an injection at the clinic. I am here to bring my baby to get a second injection. But upon arrival, I found some patients leaving and others coming. I was told the clinic has been shut down. I heard that there are so many reasons for the closure, but that's not my concern. The problem is we should have been informed about it through the media so that we can prepare. It is a matter of health, and injections our babies receive are very important. I don't know where to start now because this is where I delivered my baby and did all my antenatal care here. Aissatou Mendy expressed concern about the clinic's closure.
Wow, public hospital bi so fi joge comme suñ ma si nga xamne ñu ngi bokk fi German clinic ASB.
If I go to public hospitals with the ASB clinic card, I am put to one side and asked to wait. If I try to force myself in, I am confronted by attendants saying, why did I join a private clinic? If the service offered at a private clinic is better, you will definitely go to the private hospital to solve your health needs. Ibrahim Ajaju urged the government to look into the matter and reopen the clinic for the good service it had been providing.
We're really urging the government to reopen the place because as for me, you see my son, I'm the one who always bring him here. You understand? So definitely, if at all I was not having any caring or they are not attending my son, actually I won't. Because you normally go to government hospitals whereby whenever you go, there is no medicine. They happens to give you a paper whereby you have to go to a pharmacy. But here, you have all the facilities. So definitely, we really appreciate what the hospital is giving us. So if any concern about this, definitely we will be very surprised and we will be very shocked. We really urging the government to reopen it.
ASB operated an outpatient unit and 2 24-hour operational clinics, baby delivery facilities with midwives and gynecologists. For QTV News, I am Maria Tussar.
The Gambia Red Cross Society on Sunday signed a memorandum of understanding with the Qatari Red Crescent Society. The MOU focuses on health, disaster, water, sanitation, and hygiene. Lamin Dabo reports.
Following President Barrow's historic visit to Qatar, where several agreements were signed between the two countries, a delegation from the Republic of Qatar visited Banjul for an assessment of the Gambia's priority development needs. This memorandum of understanding signed between the Gambia Red Cross Society and the Qatari Red Crescent Society seeks to familiarize how the two national societies can strengthen their partnership. The Secretary General of the Qatar Red Crescent, Ali bin Hassan Al-Hamadi, through an interpreter, explains the purpose of their visit.
Be here in the Gambia to sign such of an agreement or MOU between the Gambia Red Cross Society, and this agreement will go long for strengthening the bilateral relation between Qatar Red Crescent and the Gambia Red Cross Society to help Gambia Red Cross Society to achieve its goals and aims and objectives.
Alassane Senghor, the Secretary General of the Gambia Red Cross Society, says the signing of the MOU will strengthen both the operational and the institutional capacity of the humanitarian organization.
And also focusing on areas of where we can support people, our communities, including water sanitation, including health, including disaster management, climate risk reduction, resilience building, and many others.
The Secretary General also revealed that the Gambia Red Cross Society, in partnership with the Kenya Red Cross, will be launching an emergency medical care project called the G+, to provide free medical care for accidents and emergencies, as well as clinic facilities for families.
I wish to ask and request all Gambians to watch the space. We are here to support our communities and to bring assistance, which means that when there are accidents or sicknesses at home, we will start the treatment right from where our ambulances arrive up to the place where you are transferred to a hospital.
The Gambia Red Cross Society is a humanitarian institution which plays an auxiliary role in supporting the government in various areas, including health, disaster response, resilience building, and providing water to communities. For QTV News, Lamin Alaj Fandin Dabo.
A workshop for the validation of the off-grid solar market assessment report was organized on Tuesday by the Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, in partnership with the ECOWAS Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. QTV's Ajifatu Bintubub tells us more.
The Regional Off-Grid Electrification Project, REGEP, is supporting the Gambia and 18 other countries in West Africa and the Sahel to accelerate the deployment of stand-alone solar PV systems. Mr. Sire Abdul Jallo, coordinator of the Private Sector Support Facility of ECOWAS Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, said the market assessment seeks to understand the issues and gaps countries are facing before full implementation of the project. He further continues.
When we live here today, we would like to be able to say that we understand the issues facing the Gambia in terms of off-grid electrification, and then that the interventions that we are putting in place will be able to bring about the solutions for the electrification, especially for those people living in rural places and off the national grid.
Mamadou Bisa, advisor to the Minister of Petroleum and Energy, said the project is important as a national grid, that is, the power lines that go into houses cannot cover the whole country. He, however, stated that mini-grids are expensive to build.
It's significant because what happens is that the national grid, that is the power lines that go to houses, cannot cover the whole country. So this project is trying to extend power to areas which don't have this national grid. So it's very important because there are villages, if you want to extend the grid there, it's so expensive for the country. So you can have mini grids just for that area and supply energy. So that's why it's important, because it helps the whole country to have energy instead of waiting for the grid to reach there. That would take time because it's costly to have poles and wires going everywhere in the country.
The technical validation for the off-grid solar market assessment for the Gambia was organized as part of the preparatory phase of the regional off-grid electrification project. It is funded by the World Bank, the Clean Technology Fund, and the government of the Netherlands. Ajifatu Bintumbu, QTV News.
And before we end this bulletin of the news, here's a recap of our main headlines. TRRC hearings continue, and we hear from one of the most high-profile members of the Jammeh-led military council as former Vice President and Minister of Defense in the former AFPRC junta, Edward Singhateh, testifies. The government of Japan donates a significant number of farming equipment to the government and people of the Gambia. The tourism minister heralds the coming of tourist season. And a hospital at Latrikunda German is closed following an intervention by the Ministry of Health. That's all we have for you in this bulletin of the news. Do join us tomorrow for more news. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.